control of your television.
Wasn't that Rap Stewart?
Well, let's see how much of control we really have here on the old Tube Radio Network. Like this.
Your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The old Tube Radio Network.
Now, I know we're brought to you by radio, but when we start adding the pictures and the Universal Media Netweb, then all bets are off. Good evening, everybody, here on a Saturday evening. Central California, 27085, the RF frequency of choice, and everywhere else on your Universal Media Netweb at oldtuberadio.net, and maybe even a video or two thanks to YouTube, the Old Tube Radio Network, yet again. Continuing its 35-year tradition of talking about, talking with, and looking for those classic tube radios from the Class D 11-meter citizen band radio service that just happened to be floating around about 1958 to 1978 when they didn't make them anymore. But you know they will be here tonight, so stay tuned. We'll be talking with the shortwave listeners momentarily during the roll call, and you just never know what might happen. So thanks for joining us tonight. My name is Dennis, one of the net controllers of the Old Tube Radio Network. So if I've got the paperwork together, we will commence to begin. As they say, if you're playing the home game, this will be week 8 for 10-17-2020. 10-17. That I think we'll be calling the 10-17 here. Let's go with our 00, and I believe that is Paul. If you can hear me, over.
Hearing you fine, Dennis. Good night,
All right, I hear what sounds like an old tube radio in the mix there, so keep it warm, and we will be checking in with you in just a little bit. Thanks for getting us started out. Then we've got the cosmic check-in for SWL number 1. When Jim did the net control, I don't think anything ever went wrong. And likewise, this guy as well. SWL number 2, Mr. OBP, who was always 9 pounds and good modulation from Chestnut and Herndon. And I do believe Mr. OBP is out there. I saw him on Old Radio Night, and he might actually be beaconing somewhere tonight. So, Kevin, you are checked in. I elevated the foot switch on a box. So if the box doesn't collapse, maybe I will be able to keep the transmitter keyed. SWL number 3, checking in from Facebook. SWL number 4. SWL number 5. I will check in Mama Rose Ida. Says hello to all the tube radio operators and SWLs. SWL 6. SWL 7. I have a request to check in 7. He is away from the coiled cord microphonium. Might be back at the end of the program here tonight. Then we jump up to SWL 13, Mr. Cobra. Mike checks in via Facebook. I will hang on, because he might be out there. SWL 14. SWL 15. I'll get Fred, Desert Rat, one of our net controllers, from, where did he check? He checked in on the Facebook side last week as well. Sometimes we hear him from the big town of Easton. SWL 16. Shortwave listener 17. And there is OBP. I see the waving hand. And you are indeed, I don't know how we get the digital. You are 9 pounds and good modulation, if indeed there were modulation in the form that you checked in. Over to SWL 18. Mikey checking in from Facebook. Did I call SWL 17? Let me try it again. SWL 17. SWL 19. That is the infamous 14047, who was indeed out there tonight as we were checking in and checking up on all the stuff, listening to, was it 20 meters? I believe it is the New York QSO party. So all our New York stations out there will be giving us a point tonight, as is Derby tonight from 14047. Thank you for getting us on the air. Let's go over to SWL 20.
That's different. Number 20 here, check in 29 and 54, and I probably will have at least one, if not a couple of radios of interest.
Great, and you sound good. Your radio sounds very, how should I say, your radio sounds very normal, so you've been doing some work in the shack.
Actually, no. This is not that same radio. This one's a different Browning. It's amazing when you move from one house to another, you find things. Anyway, this is one of the things I did find, and I will check in later on.
Very good. Sounding good. Thanks for jumping in, getting checked in here during the roll call from the not-so-west side these days. Over to SWL 21. That is Mr. JT. Oh, lots of you out there. I will get to the scroll list and see who is actually out there. Where is that? JT, hello to all the SWLs, says he, and everyone else around the world. That's right, at oldtuberadio.net, beaconing on the Universal Media Net web, SWL 21, and the longest-known ground rod fact check by C-SPAN employees that were hacked or unhacked is requesting a check-in. And, of course, JT, the infamous host of Old Radio Night, where tonight, let me grab the view here, where tonight he was on the Courier Gladiator. I don't have the picture set up, but I think I've got the audio set. Tell you, Old Radio Night sounding where tonight he was on the, sounding like this, but it sounds like me. Let me get rid of me. I think they were trying out sideband.
That's you, Firecracker. Come on, is that you, Firecracker?
They were trying sideband tonight on the Courier Gladiator on Channel 12.
4, 3, 2, 1. The old cracker in Waldeboro.
Yeah, Roger, there, Firecracker. How you get me in there? I got you tuned in now. Come on.
There it is, sounding good on AM or sideband for Old Radio Night tonight. Got you checked in, and I like that. It reminded me of my realistic Navajo, my TRC-23, with the style of the knobs. Of course, the Gladiator is a much fancier set than the early realistic Navajos were, but sounded good. And what was the reverse preamp? A DNA Maverick. Wow, okay, that's the big stuff. He wasn't fooling around tonight. There must have been some skip conditions on. Over to SWL 22. SWL 23. And that is 23 Skidoo, Mitch. Skidoo was a movie from 1968, an Otto Preminger movie that had Frankie Avalon and Carol Channing and Jackie Gleason, and on it went. Sort of a campy spoof of 1968 stuff. But that's the Skidoo. We'll be looking for 23 in upcoming episodes here. SWL 24. SWL 25.
Hello, Dennis. 25, checking in.
And hello, Jerry. I keep missing the Wednesday night net because it seems like something always, the last couple of weeks, has come up, but I will endeavor to do better. How did things go last week? Was there any skip conditions?
full group, but we had, like 35 check-ins and added a few new members, and it little by little is growing. But it's always fun when the conditions are right, when our friends up in Oregon and Washington and check in, and lots of fun. So anyway, thanks, Dennis. Back to you.
All right, I was listening. The bands weren't too bad, 40 and 20 in the ham band, so I'm thinking maybe we might have some excitement, some DX excitement. Probably going to be the mini grass when they, I'm looking, it's dark out here, but when they get to their gray line, about 45 minutes, we'll see what happens on that. Thanks for checking in. Over we go to page 2. Oh, before I do that, let me see, let me run the list who is out there over on the IP side. We'll start up at the balcony. I see you all up there, Squamish, British Columbia, Albert, and the gang. Saying hello to all the old tube radio operators and SWLs. Thanks for tuning in. Hello to station in Fremont, Manhattan Beach, Fresno, Hendersonville, Tennessee. We're coming right up to you. The unknown SWL with the paper bag over their microphonium. Centerville, Virginia, Somerville, South Carolina, Oakland, Fresno, Woodland Park, Colorado. Always waiting. Always waiting for that E-skip to happen. Dallas, Georgia, Reedley, San Francisco. I have to check. It might be X4000 in there. Of course, right down in the front row tonight, Anoka and New York in there helping me out to getting set up tonight. Thanks, Charlie. Thanks to the station in Derby. Let's see, we've got SWL 27.
27, checking in via the FM AI 6.
Hey, I hear you. Let me see if I can do a crossband check-in. I hear you okay with the crossband audio. Thanks for checking in, Dwayne. KB6GFD.
Right.
All right, I don't know if that came through the audio side or not. I probably have to EQ the FM audio just a little bit better. We've got the crossband hooked up. Page 2. Next is SWL. Let's see, I better check in 27. And you can see it right up there. When you check in, it'll say that you are checking in or checked in. So keep an eye. See if the net controller is actually doing it correct. SWL 28 would be Chrissy out in Idaho. And if I look over on my yet another screen, might actually see that there are some messages for me. Oh, she says I look great. Yeah, this is an old, I don't have a Browning Eagle shirt, but this is a Hawk, I believe. So I'm wearing my Hawk. I don't know if anybody's going to check in a Browning Hawk tonight, but so much for this before it goes into the rag bag. And who was it that said 97 Boston says, where are you going to put the pocket protector? And I thought about that. There is no pocket, and so the pocket protector is on hold. I thought I brought it in to put on the table, but it is not. So we will catch up with the pocket protector and our I guess our sponsor next. I hear something. Hold on. What is that noise? All right. There's kind of something coming in on over my headset. Sometimes that means I've got an open piece of audio gear, but I don't think that is the case. I think it's just ambient noise. So, Chrissy, you are checked in. Now, she says she's wearing her camo jacket, and Dwayne is wearing his black and white flannel shirt. We'll talk about that in just a minute. We'll talk about flannel shirts here. So thanks for checking in. Then we are coming up to SWL 29. Mr. Loner, who is been asked to be proxied. I will do that. And the breaking station, this is OTR. Go ahead, over. All right, SWL 24. Let me just back up around the corner, peek around the corner, and get Joseph checked in. Thanks, Joe. Mr. Black Sheep, and then we go over to SWL 30, who is wearing the black and white. I used to have a black and white flannel shirt. I like flannel shirts. You will see the flannel shirts coming soon, but not here in the Central Valley, although I know my friend who lives in Meridian, just outside of Boise, I was checking the temperature, and I think they were predicting some lows at 35 overnight. That is definitely flannel shirt weather. I don't know what altitude you guys are at but I think the flannel shirt is apropos. And I've got a couple. I think they're red, but that was my favorite one too, the black and white checked flannel. Flannel is in October in certain parts of the country right now. Thanks, Dwayne. We'll get you checked in. Over to SWL 31. Robert treats at Hendersonville, Tennessee. Right at they were in the balcony. They have yet moved down. Maybe they're going to get some of that great stuff that we have in the green room tonight. I haven't checked in with the Bob and Steve show. They should be checking in a bit. Find out what's happening over there. So hope all is going well in Hendersonville and that you are keeping the radios warmed up and maybe you have added a few more to your collection. Who knows? SWL 32. And also Warren. I always forget about Warren, who is also in Hendersonville, Tennessee, over watching on YouTube. I neglected to get the thing. Okay, there you go. There's it checked in. I'm trying to get all my nieces together. SWL 33, myself, Bozo Control, the Jingle Singers, the Honking Proboscis. That's a good thing. SWL 34. SWL 34 is Jimmy. Is Railroader in there? He actually sent me a message that I just saw not too long ago, and I have to get back to him on that. But it's on Facebook, and it always seems like I have wacky Facebook stuff going on. Who else out there? Oh, Toby, the guy that runs like a dozen and a half. Speaking of Facebook pages, he is in Kansas, believe it or not. Not too far from Frodex, who does the Nixie tubes, who's out there in Lawrence. I think Toby's a hop, skip, and a jump outside of Lawrence. DD21, of course, is in 97 Boston, is in X4000. Hey, X4000, I'll get you checked in. Yeah, you know what it is? That's my mouse banging on the table. And then, of course, the microphone boom is part of that table. It's not very well isolated. I want to say hello to some of the other stations that were also on the video side tonight. Gary out of Sacramento is in, saying, let's have another great show like Jackie Gleason would say, and away we go. That's right. He did that little away we go thing. And I think he used to be on Saturday nights. Ed Sullivan was on Sunday nights. Maybe he was on before Ed Sullivan. I think Jackie Gleason was on Saturday night. So we have the great Jackie Gleason time slot. So we will definitely have a good show. Hello to Magnum Red, listening from Arizona. North Charleston, asking how I am tonight. I'm doing good. Doing good so far. And okay, there's Jimmy. He's right where he's supposed to be. I had the page scrolled up. He's checking in right where he's supposed to be. I heard your message, and I will get back to you on that because it's important. And it is difficult to get a hold of Rob. I don't know what is going on with that. He's like even more busier than I am. But I agree with you that there is some potential that is being unpotentialized. So we'll see what we can do. Jimmy, like Toby, is another one of those guys that runs a dozen and a half Facebook things. I don't know how they do it. Let's continue with the roll call. SWL 35, that's Mr. Bill and the gang at Red Monkey Communications out in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and he is checking in tonight from Cheyenne just moments ago. Hello, Bill, if you're listening. Thanks for all you did for us here, because we're still checking in some of those great radios that you all kept on the air for us. Let's go over to SWL 36. SWL 37. I am going to get 37 checked in because he was in earlier and was doing some stuff, but I'm sure he'll run back out in moments. SWL 38. SWL 39. Oh, boy, you just peaked above my noise level there, Dan. I hope you can hear me. You are definitely in the haystack tonight. The needle, the needle is definitely in my SWR haystack. Give us another shout. Over. All right, I hear you in there, but not too well, but good enough to give Dr. Dan the X in the square here on our last check-in of this 8-week roster. Thanks, Dan, for going the extra mile. Okay, you have talked to great. All right, thanks, Jimmy. I was on a Zoom meeting with Rob. He's active in the Clovis Amateur Radio Club, and he didn't even have his video going, so I figured he had all sorts of computer problems, so I didn't bug him that much. That was a week or two ago. But that would be great. That would absolutely be great. Let's try SWL 40.
Okay, SWL 40 here. Got a couple of announcements to make. We've lost a well-known personality here with the radio and TV community. Curly Clarence Arnheimer passed away a few days ago. He's well known for collecting vintage items and who knows what's going to happen next. And also the amateur radio swap meet is going to be on this coming up in November. It's going to be an outdoor event. So COVID shouldn't be too much of a problem. And it's going to be near the 84 Lumber in Clovis at Gettysburg and Clovis Avenue in Clovis. And it'll be on November the 14th. And that is all.
Okay, thanks for the updates. Yeah, Curly, he's one of the longtime engineers and parts collector guys. I don't remember if he worked at somebody told me he had worked at Arbuckle at one time, but I don't know about that. And I'm assuming the thing in November is the FARC event. Over? Or not over?
I'm sorry, I had to answer my door. What was the question?
Okay, just quickly, the November event is the FARC event?
Yes, November 14th, and it'll be, you can get more information about that at w6to.com.
Okay, and the FARC is the Fresno Amateur Radio Club, and then typically in November they have a swap meet, and it looks like they're going to try and be safe, so probably outdoors, and maybe or maybe not face coverings required, who knows, and that's out at Larry Lyons Place, just off of Gettysburg, so we'll have more information for that for the locals. And hey, I made it over to the warehouse today, as Pat was doing some cleaning, so everything is good. All right, Larry, let you get back to who's at the door. The Old Tube Radio Network, we will be talking about the great glow-in-the-dark tube radios. Right now, we are in the SWL roll call and saying hello to those stations. You don't have to be on the list. You don't have to have a number or anything like that. Jump on in and say hello, and we will chat with you. And I know as well, like I do, you will enjoy the radios checking in tonight. I do see SWL 23. 23 Skidoo. Like I said, Skidoo was a 1968 movie directed by Otto Preminger with Carol Channing and Frankie Avalon and Jackie Gleason, all sorts of people. So hopefully, what is Mitch doing? He had, what did you say? You scrolled off my screen, or I moved it down, or it went away. Oh, there it is. Checking in from Winslow, Arizona, just standing on the corner. Was Winslow one of... No, it was Flagstaff. That's where Route 66 goes through. But you're in Winslow. On the corner. Is that... Who does that? Is that the Eagles? You know, one of the Eagles guys is a big AMer. He's a big ham radio AM guy.
Bill Walsh.
Thank you. Yeah, he's a WB6 call.
And a girl, my lord, in a flatbed Ford.
See what you started, Mitch. Direct net roll call. Next, we've got SWL 41. Road Dog 507. Checking in. Also in the worldwide sideband part, the Alpha Charlies from the Hudson Valley of New York, where it is going on this weekend, the New York QSO party. I didn't hear people from New York, but I heard people calling New York here on the Central Valley. So I'll have to tune in 20 meters tomorrow while the contest is still on and hear all those kilowatt stations out there in Hudson Valley and beyond. Thanks 507 for checking in. Over to SWL 42.
Yeah, Proxy and 42 in the gang.
611.
All right, we'll get 42 and the triple play on there. And yeah, Larry, I've got the crossband up. I've got the audio up, so if it gets real noisy, I'll turn it down. But I keep thinking, why is Larry in my headsets? Because he's on the...
Copy that.
Yeah, he's on the 2 meter side. Next, we've got SWL 43.
611.
SWL 44. Now, Ray, you might have. I don't know if you could get in simplex or not because my antenna's really low. But Ray would be a good candidate for checking in via the FM crossband. He is out there. He's doing a digi check-in tonight. As he is doing the family thing. I always appreciate when people, and I don't know if you have to sneak away or if that old tube radio is thought of well enough we can say, I'm going to go check into the net, where you have to say, no, I'm going to go out and I'm going to go dump the trash, and then you run into the radio room instead and check in, and no one is much the wiser. Thanks, Ray. I've got you checked in. And doggone it, you always sound good I always hear you on the sideband when you check in, so... I don't know why that is. Let's go to the guy that checked in as 00. Hello, Paul, if you're still there. Okay, good deal. That radio has got a bit of an oscillation in the audio. I don't know if you can see that on any of the wiggle meters or something, but I can hear you through it. Over. Yeah, we'll work with it. That's why we're here. Doesn't have to be perfect, but if it's glowing in the dark, we'd like to have it modulating. Thanks, Paul. All right, point your beams north and a bit west, I do believe, for SWL 46. See if we can hear Chowchilla. How about SWL 47?
Well, good evening from the Radio Lounge, SWL 47.
Sounding good from the Radio Lounge. Thanks for giving me the radio check earlier on the crossband. It sounds like you've got everything ready to go. Yeah, like that. Over to SWL 48.
SWL 48 checking in, brother.
Hey, sounding good. We don't get the pleasure often to hear Mr. KP on the AM mode of operation on the live side, but sounding good. Thanks.
Hey, Dennis, also check in my neighbor over here, C26.
I will do that. He is like the last number that I call. I'll make sure he will get on. And I also hear him on the sideband net, just barely peeking through, but that's my fault for not having an antenna up in the air where it should be. Thanks, Sam. Over to SWL 49. SWL 50.
50 checking in.
50 is checking in. Thank you, Mark. I put the X in the square. And over we go. Mr. 305 out there in Sanger, 51.
5-1, checking in.
And I have made the appropriate, well, I will make the appropriate marks on the page and click the mouse, and yes, indeed, you are checked in. Thanks.
Thank you, Dennis. Have a good evening.
SWL 52. SWL 53.
Hello, Dennis. 53 checking in.
53. Hello, Bob. Mr. Belair. As always, I get to turn the page now. Thanks.
Thank you.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I keep threatening to reconfigure the SWL list, and then I think it will change the pages. So everybody's going to be lost because I'll be turning the pages in a different order, unless I can figure out some cool way to do this, I guess. Let's see, any other items of interest coming through? Let's head over to the, well, we can. Am I going to do that? No, I'll wait. I'll wait till we go to page 4 for the Ohio report. But I will say we're checking in SWL 54 on the Cosmic check-in for Mr. Boardjammer. SWL 55. I'll give a proxy check-in for M&M. He's probably out there somewhere. I'm not sure what condition his antenna is in, but I think I heard the group up there checking in on Friday nights. Let's go over to SWL 56.
Well, good evening, Dennis and the net. This is SWL 56, just for kicks.
Just for kicks. Sounding good, Phil. And oddly enough, I was going through the archives. We have audio archives, and I didn't realize they go back to 2011. So I just randomly clicked on a couple of them just to see if they were still up and running, you know, if the little reel-to-reel tapes would still load. And I think I clicked on one in 2012, 2013, and 2014. And I kid you not, each time I clicked on it just to see what the audio was, it was you checking in a radio. So good stuff. I think you have provided OTR with plenty of history, and thanks for checking in. Yeah, there are archives. If you go to oldtuberadio.net, there's the archive button. You click on it. It takes forever to load all the little reel-to-reel tapes on the OTR magnetophone, and it goes back a long time. And you can hear some stuff that hasn't checked in for a long time. But it's fun. It's fun to listen to what we were doing. I wish we had archives from back in 1985. I probably have some on cassette tape. Let's go over to SWL 57. Mr. Brown Dog, right there. I'll just look over the screen, and there is Brown Dog audio checking in from under the hood of the 79 Ford truck. You got me beat. Mine's the opposite. I got a 97 Ford truck. 79's a little better, right? And I'll be taking period-correct suggestions from the group on what radio setup for... okay. What is the radio setup for 1978, 79, 80? 79 Ford truck. Brown Dog is looking for what the radio is. Actually, you know, at that time, I think like 77, 78... You know how General Motors is behind, all the auto manufacturers are behind the times. I think that's when the cars actually started. You could order a Cadillac that had the Delco radio with a CB in it. I don't know if Ford ever did that or not. So there might have been a 1975, and who was Ford? Philco? Who put the radios in Ford? I think it was Philco. They might have a Philco version that actually fits right in there, that's got a CB in it, but I don't know who would make it. All right, well, we'll keep that in mind. And we'll see what happens. Maybe an original, well, 79, you can go 40 channels. I was going to say the original Cobra 29, which is 23 channels, but we're talking 79, so you can definitely go with 40 channels. All right, we've got you checked in. Over to SWL 58.
Good evening, Dennis. SWL 58. Checking in. Hope everybody's having a great evening tonight.
We are trying. I haven't personally broken anything yet. And as far as I know, anything hasn't broken without my help. You know how that goes when you're running a net. Speaking of which, Jeremy hosts the Friday night Ditch Banks sideband net that is on channel 36 lower at 8 p.m. Pacific daylight time. At least we're going to be daylight time for what, another week? Or a couple of weeks? Everyone is welcome, and so if you're way far out, give a listen to 36 lower at 8 p.m. Pacific daylight time, whatever that is for you, and maybe you will hear a group of stations checking in. Give us a holler at the appropriate time. Did I say that right?
It sounded right to me. We appreciate it, Dennis. Thank you very much, Senator.
All right, and I hope that a lot of you are maybe doing I know you are, doing something like that in your neighborhood, in your radio neighborhood, as it were. Sort of a get on the air night. Something happening. For a lot of us, it maybe can't quite go out to where we want to go. Over to SWL 59. SWL 60. And I've got a pre-check-in for SWL 60, who is working on some family business. Joe, if you're listening, take care. And hope everything is working out okay. Over to SWL 61.
SWL 61 checking in, Dennis.
As always, Dino beaconing in. Copenhagen kid sounding good here on the AM side of the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Now, there are a lot of you they've been checking in for years, for decades, as a matter of fact, and they are just consistent. Their audio always sounds good, the radio always sounds good, and Dean is one of those. Just like, it's always there. Next, we've got SWL 62. Am I hearing things? SWL 62? Okay, it did not sound like Rex. If somebody heard 62 checking in, let me know. But usually I get a much better signal from downtown Clovis. Over to SWL 63. Butterbean. Did Butterbean, who was out on the old radio night tonight? Was he on old radio night tonight? If so, I'll get him checked in, but I don't see him out here tonight. SWL 64. SWL 65. Okay, someone help me out with that. I hear the audio, but I'm not making it out. Okay, yeah, almost sounds like he's on sideband. I think we're getting some phase distortion through the rocks. All right, 650, if you can hear me. I don't know if you're listening on the stream or over the air. I hear you, but I was just having trouble making out the audio. But we've got you. Over.
Okay, thank you, Dennis.
All right, yeah, I think we're in, and I used to have that happen with the guys up near, was it Bass Lake or somewhere, when we were on a 10-meter sideband. Just this area, there is something that goes on. I don't know if there's some reflection, and it distorts the audio like that. It sounds like it's off frequency and out of phase when it actually is not. So I think that's what's happening here on AM as well, because obviously he's putting in a fairly decent signal. Let me call 65 again. SWL 66. SWL 67, that's Bill. Did I see Oregon on the list? I don't see him out there just yet. I'll put a hold on that one. SWL 68. SWL 69, Kenny, he stopped by the replay and checked in. So, Kenny, if you're watching or listening, I hope you are on the mend and doing well, and thanks for checking us out on the video last week, and check us out on the video this week. I will get you checked in.
You missed mine.
Yeah, you probably had places to be and things to do. SWL 37.
Oh, SWL 37 here checking in, Dennis. I'm sorry I was late. I could have sworn you missed me, but I fell asleep.
Yeah, I know how I run net control. I probably missed not only you, but a host of others. So we got you checked in.
Oh. They're dope back out there. All right, and you did let everybody know about Joe's brother?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess he did pass away on the 15th. That was the day of my birthday, so that would have been Thursday, due to problems with kidneys and heart and everything. So anyway, he used to be, everybody know him, I imagine. I can't remember what he went by on the radio, but anyway, he did pass away and everything. So Joe said, send his best out to everybody out there, then that he would try to check back in maybe next week. But he said he wasn't going to be on the radio that much right now. But so we just got to keep him on our prayers, okay?
All right, very good. And definitely understandable in a time like that. Thanks for the update. I got the foot switch to work. My foot switch extension is failing me. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. My name is Dennis, your net controller. We are here in Central California, transmitting on 27085. That's channel 11 in the RF zone. Everywhere else at oldtuberadio.net and on the YouTube video feed. Inviting you to stay with us and enjoy the sounds of classic 11-meter Class D tube radio that will be coming up here in moments after the roll call. Looking for SWL 70.
Yes, present.
Present and accounted for. How's everything up there? Over.
Sweet. A little smoky, but we're doing okay. How about you?
Still doing good. You know, we get the clear days, and then today was one of those triple-digit bad air things, so something was going on. But so far, hey, we're both here, so that's a good thing.
Yes, it is. One day it's going to rain. Thanks, Dennis.
And thank you for checking in. Magnolia Cafe in Austin has a neon sign that says, "Sorry, we're open." It's like the one of the hardware stores. After one of the big independent hardware stores changed ownership and management, and they had a sign that said, "Under new management," this other hardware store that had been an independent hardware store that had been around for quite some time as well, put up a sign that said, "Under old management." So that's sort of like the "Sorry, we're open" or something like that. Let's go over to Dallas, Georgia, SWL 71. And that is Stan and all the gang over there in the radio room. What is going on with Mr. Announcer Stan tonight? Checking in, worked the New York QSO party. I heard some of it earlier today, but I didn't hear anybody from New York. I heard the stations calling New York. And the Illinois QSO party tomorrow. Okay, is it a day thing? I will listen in to see who's that. Might work Classic Exchange CX tomorrow with his 45-year-old Yaesu FT101B. Classic Exchange. Tell me more about the Classic Exchange. I'll keep an eye out for that. I've got a 101. I've got a 102. I actually think I have an antenna I might be able to put up to do that. I have the HT37, although I'd have to figure out how to do the receiver, get a receiver. I've got all sorts of stuff for Classic Exchange. I should be doing that, but I may just not be quite ready. All right, Stan, good deal. Hope you get some context on the 101 Bravo. That was my first, after my 980, I had a 101 nothing. It's like, I don't know what the difference between the 101 and the 101B. And then they had the E and the double E and the EX, and there was little differences all the way around. All right, thanks, Stan. Over to SWL 72. That's Eric in Clovis. Nothing heard. SWL 73. I'll give a proxy for John. I talked to him on 2 meters, but he might pop in. We've got the crash band up on the audio chain tonight. Over to SWL 74. SWL 75. And then we go to SWL 77.
77 on the Tower of Power out of the Tower District. Waving a hand. 73 is all the listeners, and thanks for everything you do, Dennis.
All right. Well, I just kind of sit here and don't do much. It just kind of happens around me. So I'm lucky that way, I guess. 1017. There's our other 1017 that I promised that would you come by tonight. Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you.
And Brian, the mighty KUH, I hear you. Brian says, I love them FT102s, gorgeous radios. Let me... Oh, man. See, you shouldn't have said that, Brian. Let me go to the camera. And there you go. There's one right there. There's the tuner. There's the VFO. Say the microphone. There is one right there. And there's probably another one somewhere else. Yeah, you know we love the FT102s. I have one that needs repair that will actually could be used as a net control radio on this very frequency. Great audio, man. You listen to the analog or the digital stuff, and then you put on the headsets to that great FT102 analog audio, and you think, okay, maybe there is something to all of this. Where are we going? We're looking for SWL 78. SWL 79. And SWL 80. All right, over to page 4, and I mentioned that we would jump in and find out what's going on with the Bob and Steve show out there in Ohio. I need to find out what's going on with the Jingle Singers. I never know. Things just happen, and I'm not a part of it. The Jingle Singers have asked Bob and Steve to join them in singing tonight on the OTR show. Well, that could be interesting. So we said yes. Yes, pump up loud and enjoy. It's okay to do it 2 times back to back. And Bob and I got for the bar a waffle maker. Okay, so little waffles. I guess that's for the people that stay late. Sometimes I go to bed early after the net, after my Ovaltine, and I get up early Sunday morning, and it's still happening over in the green room. And now they've got a waffle maker, so that's good. Electric mixer, blender, milkshake maker, and air fryer. Oh, the milkshake maker, I like that. All from Costco. I noticed my Costco Visa card has been a little on the heavy side. And at the bar tonight, the party after they sing, they're going to be having the Arkansas chicken waffle sliders and chips. I guess you have to be from Arkansas to know about those. And on all the Bob and Steve show, I think that's going on simultaneously. So if nobody's checking in, or nobody comes in from the green room to check in, that is probably why the Bob and Steve show is... I know they'll send them out this way. We've got that same time slot that Jackie Gleason had, so that's good stuff. Let's go over to SWL 81. Top of page 4 if you're playing the home game. Getting a check-in for Steve Areno. I don't know where he's at. He will usually check in, and maybe he is traversing down down Route 66 tonight. He's in Tupelo or somewhere like that. If you're listening... Mr. Unicorn, we do have you checked in. Over to SWL 82.
82 checking in from the Ditchbanks, Biola. Good evening.
Ditchbanks of Biola looking good. You guys might need some rain out there. I wonder if the ditchbanks are going to be blown away if we don't get some moisture.
Yeah, they're filling up with leaves and piles of dust, dirt.
Yeah, I'm getting these sticky leaves where the trees are dripping sap, and then the leaves fall off, and you walk through the leaves, and then they're all stuck to you, like you were a wet lollipop or something. So, yeah, well, we'll see what happens. It's October. It didn't even rain on the raisin guys this year, so maybe that's a good thing. Thanks for checking in. Over to SWL 84.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR, go ahead.
This is SWL 65 checking in a little bit late.
Hey, no problem. I figured we would get somebody representing the group up there. All right, Eric, I've got you checked in. Over.
Thank you, Dennis. And can you also proxy in 55 for me?
I will do. In fact, on my chart of charts, 55 is just a mouse click above the 65. It's easy to do, and it is done.
Thank you. We're getting there, but not quite close to normal yet, but we're working on it. Thank you.
All right, yeah, it would take a long time if it wasn't 2020, and it's 2020, so it's even longer, but a lot of people putting positive energy your way, and there's a lot of good services and things, I hope, that are keeping things a little bit more safe and sane than normal. So, all right, we appreciate you taking the extra effort to jump in and say hello and let us know how things are going.
Hey, thank you.
We're at 84. Let's do the triple play on 84, 86, 87, and 88. I'll do them all right now, and then we'll jump over to see how we're doing with Reevely SWL 85. I was hearing a little bit of Reevely Town earlier. I don't know if conditions change or not. Let's try SWL 89. I'm getting Darren checked in. Man, he had a very bad collision on his mountain bike. He had posted some x-rays of like clavicles and splints and metal pieces and all that, but he seems to be okay. He seems to be in good spirits. And it wasn't the first time or the second time or the third time from what I was reading. So, man, Darren, take it easy. All right, next we've got SWL 90. And I do have a note to check in 90. SWL 92. SWL 93. All right, checking you in, Louie. If you can hear me through, I think you're on the sideband, but I hear you out there. Take it easy. And the Old Tube Radio Network says hello, radio. Check on the check-in. Thanks, 93. Doing a good job here on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. Over to SWL 98.
Welcome in, Dennis.
Checking in. Do you ever make any trips back out to the very, very west side when the weather, let's see, it's probably just really nice weather out in Monterey now, isn't it?
There's some wind right now, but I haven't been there. I haven't felt good in a while, and I haven't been there in, probably 3 weeks.
All right, well, that's better than I'm doing. I think I probably haven't been there in 3 years. I'm throwing stuff on the floor. I'm trying not to break things. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, Dan.
Over to, we're in the big numbers now. SWL 103, Jeff. SWL 109. Shortwave listener 110. SWL 111. Robert just checked in on the digital side and said he was hearing everything good until about 10 minutes ago. So he was checking in and checking out. If you're listening to the stream, Robert, I saw your message. I don't know what happens. Just things change. Maybe they finally built that high-speed rail right over across 99 that's blocking our signal down to Reevely. You never know, but I got you checked in.
Comment.
Comment, go.
Did 49 get checked in? Or no, was it 49? No, Smitty. I don't know his number, though.
You know, I called, 49 is correct, and I did not hear anything. I know he's been experiencing QRM issues, but I will get Brian and Sweet Country Mama checked in, okay?
Very good. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for that. Sometimes they are doing things, come in late, but I will just put an X. My proxy, I put in a P. I don't know. It means something. We got 35 years of these papers. It means something. Let's see. Where were we at? Oh, we're on page 4. I had to rewind the video here. We're on page 4, looking for SWL 113. SWL 114.
114, checking in.
114, Rickshaw. Hi, Wayne. We are getting you checked in. Thanks.
Thank you.
And I see a lot of stations like Wayne have 8 check-ins in a row. That's next week. I'll redo the roster, and I take all the stations, any station that has checked in 8 weeks or 8 in a row, and make a little tag, and we throw the number into something. Bozo Control does that, and draw the number out, and they become, unbeknownst to them, they become the 00 for the next 8 weeks. And it doesn't pay anything, and it's kind of a pain in the rear because you have to be here twice, but everybody is really good about doing that, so thanks. All right, next we've got SWL 128. And if I look on the right page, I would probably see that John is checking in. Yes, he did, about an hour ago. 128 checking in. He might be working some of the contests. Speaking of which, I thought I saw some info on the contest. Oh, okay, Stan set a link for the Classic Exchange. So it's over at oldtuberadio.net. Look for Mr. Announcer, the RCA 44. I got a boom shot here, don't I? The RCA 44 microphone. I will check that out. Thanks. Thank you, Stan, for that. Man, it's 9 o'clock already. I need to pick up the pace. Okay, so we're looking for 128 is in. Over to SWL 131. SWL 133. All right. We've got you checked in, Dave. Audio was a little low, but the signal was great. We've got you checked in from Northwest Fresno. Over to SWL 135. We've got a proxy check-in for SWL 137. Let's try Tony. Sounding good on the sideband net last night, SWL 145.
All right, thank you, Dennis. Good evening, everybody. This is Tony, SWL 145. Yeah, we're getting real close with the 101B. I got Wednesday evening, I got receive dialed in excellently, but when I went to transmit, everybody said I was sounded off frequency, so I don't know what's going on there. Any suggestions? Yeah, the receive is excellent on that radio. Really enjoyed it, yeah. So I hope I can get the transmit work just as good as receive, Roger. And that's all we got. Other than that, just still kind of smoky up here in Course Code. Back to you, Dennis. Thank you for doing the net. 145 Course Code.
All right, Tony, you're sounding good on AM. And on your 101, I had a 101. It's just like the 101B. I'm going to assume that you do not have, there's an extra option called the digital VFO. It has the display, the frequency display numbers. It's a box that sits on top or next to the radio. I'm assuming you do not have that, right?
No, I just have the internal VFO, Roger.
Yeah, as did I on my FT101. And what happens is the radio gets out of calibration so that when you, and it's kind of difficult because when you're on sideband, you tune in, and usually you have to go either a little bit left or a little bit right on your VFO, depending on whether it's upper or lower sideband. But once you get them tuned in, you should have, I think there's and I don't even know if it's called clarifier. I wish my 101 was in front of me. But there's another receive knob that you can vary your receive frequency a bit. And that has to be in the exact right position to match, to put your receiver match with the transmitter. Now, if you assume that it's got a little notch on it and you put it at 12 o'clock straight up, and assume that if that's straight up, that it will match with your transmitter. On a 45-year-old radio, that's typically not the case, and that was not the case with mine. So I had to do some extensive research to find out that for my receive to be the same with my transmit, that clarifier knob down in the lower right or the lower left had to be moved like almost to the 1 o'clock position. And if I left it there because it was out of calibration, then my receive and transmit would be the same. But it takes a little doing to figure out where that needs to be. But my guess is that could be your issue in the fact that if you have the clarifier knob straight up or wherever it's supposed to be, it's actually not where your transmit is. So you might have to play with it. Maybe sometime if we get on 10 meters, I bet I could help you figure that out if that's indeed the case over.
Yeah, okay, Roger. Yeah, that was real helpful. Thank you.
Okay, because usually what you have to do is work with the station and then keep tweaking the knob until they say, hey, you got it and you're matched. And then you got to look at that knob and mark it or do something and leave it there. And don't move it around, and that usually will help you get a much, much closer. But yeah, it is a chore, if you will. No, I'm sorry, it's a challenge to get the 101 on frequency without the digital readout. But you can do it, and you will still have fun, I guarantee it. Thanks, Tony.
All right, thank you for all your input there. It's very informative. Yeah, I'm still learning a lot. Daryl, KG6CF, came over Wednesday and was showing me a few things, and it's very helpful, and I really appreciate. I don't know if he's on OTR, but he's on Wednesday and Friday nights. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Daryl. He's been real helpful, and you're doing, all your inputs also great. Thank you, Dennis.
All right, sounding good. Thanks for checking into the old Tube Radio Network. Don't go away, because we have the Tube Radios coming up in a matter of moments. I wanted to say who was in there. The mighty Juliet Whiskey. John is listening in from Iowa, up there in Zero Land, also known as KJG 4755 back in the day. That's a 3 and a 4. That's the kind of call I had in the early 1970s for my 11-meter radio. Let's go over to SWL 147. And that is Neil, and I know he was in on the list. Okay, I will find him at some point. I think he checked. Oh, there he is. He checked in early. Kakalaki in the house. We had good conditions today from the south and Midwest all the way up and down the band, including LSB. First time in 3 months. Yeah, bands were good today, except we're here on the West Coast on the higher frequencies. All right, next we've got. Thanks, Neil, for checking in. Over to let's see if the signal is still good. I talked to Jim earlier today, and he sounded great. SWL 195.
195, checking in, Dennis.
Oh, yeah. I think whatever you did with the new antenna, maybe you didn't do much, but it's enough to definitely make a difference. Sounding great.
Good. At least I got it up right.
Indeed. I hope when I figure out what I'm going to do with putting mine up, I'll be saying that to every station, like, wow, you sound great. And it'll be because I did my antenna as right. The Course Gold Starliners, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And then SWL 226, that is Jeff up near Mariposa, and I've been asked to get him checked in if I don't hear him. So, Jeff, you are checked in. Anyone else before we switch over to the Tube Radios, OTR listening? All right, I will be back momentarily as I set up for the Tube Radios. Jingle singers, there are all sorts of good stuff going on in the green room, so if you check in tonight, be sure to jump in there either before or after your check-in, and we will be back in just moments. You're listening to the old Tube Radio Network. little bit staticky tonight, but I think we will manage. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Hey, the reason they're applauding is because it's your turn. That's right, your turn on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight to bring by your old tube radios, or as Stan says, the classic, sort of like a classic contest. We'll go all the way back to 1958 if you've got them. 1978 works well, too, because they were still making tubes at that time. The Old Tube Radio Network is standing by listening for your check-ins.
25. 25.
All right, two heard, SWL 45. Hello, Paul. You're gonna be radio number 2. So jump up into the green room. We will be calling you shortly. Be interested to see what it is that you have tonight. And stepping up into the air chair is Jerry out there in Madera Heights, I guess we'll call it. Somewhere between here and there. We'll log you in at 912. Hello, 25 over.
Yeah, hello, Dennis. And it'll be interesting to see what Paul has some interesting characteristics there. So, hello, Paul. And, Dennis, real quickly, 25 checking in on the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, talking on the non-powered banana mic. I believe it was made by Electro Voice. And the red on-the-air light is on, and by golly, I hope it's working to where you can understand and receive my audio. Anyway, back to you, Dennis.
Working perfectly. That was going to be my question. That radio has been in your radio room for quite some time, and it always seems to fire up flawlessly. So what is for those who may be new to the Eagle, what is your systematic way of prepping that radio to come on to the Old Tube Radio Network? How soon do you have to turn it on before the net?
Well, you know what? To be honest with you, Dennis, I turn everything on about 2 hours before, so the tubes are all nice and warmed up and gassed up and ready to rock and roll, so I know there's not a chance to flatten them. So, but I turn them on and just let them, just kind of turn the volume off and just let them warm up. And so far, so good. Anyway, thanks for asking. I did the same thing with my amplifiers when I play music. They're all tube. And as soon as I get everything set up, the first thing I do is turn them on. And some of my amplifiers have a standby switch, so I put it on standby so it doesn't get all the voltage all at once, so if that makes sense. So anyway, but I give them at least 2 hours, but that's probably way too much. Anyway, back to you, Dennis.
37.
Well, I don't think that's too much. I think we recommended you needed at least 5 minutes. and some of like the Siltronics, Kevin used to leave his on for 2 months, and it would still, at least on the sideband end, it would still be drifting around. And 37, I hear you'll be radio number 3, so stand by for radio number 3. All right, well, thanks for the info on a good way to prep on a Saturday for the Old Tube Radio Network. Before you go, some questions. First, what are you running the D104 with that or the banana mic?
No, this is the banana mic, non-powered banana mic. And by the way, I heard Tony discussing the 101B or the 101. I have a 101B, and I tell you, I turn it up or turn it on for a good hour because it takes a while for it all to kind of settle in and get on frequency and stuff. So But anyway, Dennis, yeah, it's the banana mic made by Electro Voice. Anyway, back to you.
All right, very good. Do you, since you're probably going to use it on Channel 11, do you have to do the spot, spot the thing up before you crank it up for OTR?
Actually, sometimes I do, but tonight I didn't, and it just so happens apparently everything's coordinated between the receiver and the transmitter, which is obviously two pieces. And but normally I do use the spot button, but tonight I did not.
All right, because there was the question. I'm trying to find out the exact question, but I think I remember what it is. Do you notice when you do the spot that you will hear feedback through the speaker? I'm going to guess it probably has to be how close you are. When I had had a Browning set up here, and I'm running the audio board that has a lot of gain, a lot of microphone gain, and I don't have the noise ducker or the downward expander on, I get massive feedback through the speaker because it's seeing the gain. It's like a giant amplified microphone. So I'm wondering with a banana microphone if you actually hear some feedback through the speaker when you're doing the spot.
Absolutely, and that's how I tune in the VFO to the crystal control transmitter without being annoying to anybody. But that's how you spot everything in. But yeah, definitely the D104. I have one here that I could plug in real quick, but I don't want to take up a bunch of time. But yeah, it definitely has the feedback or the typical famous Browning Golden Eagle or Browning chirp tone. However, this one does have the switch in the back where you can turn that off.
Okay, you're going to have those long late-night conversations. You don't want to drive people nuts. But some people like the sound of the Brownings, as do I. Radio number 1, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, a classic radio, one that I have had the pleasure of driving for the net control a couple of times long ago, and it still sounds good here on the net tonight. Thanks for bringing it by.
Thanks, Dennis, and I'm anxious to hear Paul's radio. Anyway, back to you.
And that's what we are going to do right now here at 9:18 Pacific Daylight Time on the Old Tube Radio Network, 27085. If you're trying to tune us in, Central Valley, California, you just never know when the E-skip conditions might happen. Cycle 25 is on its way. Give us a listen, see what happens. Radio number 2 is Paul up in North Fork. Can you still hear me here in Midtown Fresno? Over, over. Okay, give me the model number again, because there's still a lot of oscillation in the audio. What kind of Browning is that? Over. Okay, the Mark II Series B. I can actually hear it ping, so I'm thinking you might have, and there's not many connectors to that microphone, right? It's just a 3-pin connector. I'm thinking maybe there is something amiss on one of the mic wires. It's keying the radio. It has audio, but it has a slight buzz, and it has a pretty pronounced oscillation that is making it difficult to hear your audio. Over. All right. Give it a try if you've got one of the mics that uses that style of connector. You know what? The Hallicrafter CB3A uses the same mic connector. I'm not sure if some of the Sonars do, but if you've got something that works with the Hallicrafter CB3A, I believe they're wired up the same. Like I said, there's not much that can go wrong with two wires, although there is a very hefty B+ voltage on that, so you got to be careful. I'll be standing by to see if you've got a different microphonium on the Mark II. it sounds different. There is still some oscillation going on. Take another transmission.
Okay. I'll tell you what, it doesn't bring in the noise on the thing any, but it's ringing the meter pretty good. I thought I got some tubes or something going in there, Dennis.
Hey, you know what? That was a good transmission. The oscillation was gone. You've got plenty of audio, so hopefully it's not, the internal radio isn't cranked up so loud, or it's looking for a microphone that has less gain. That was a good transmission. Take another one.
Okay. I don't say anything better than that, but it is swinging it pretty good. And of course, it is amplified. What I was talking about was amplified, so it just doesn't used to work well, but they decided to not work once in a while. That's good.
Okay, working good. The oscillation problem is gone. There's still a little bit of an AC note in the audio. That could be something else, but that microphone has done 100% the last 2 times, so that one definitely is working better with the Mark II Series B. Now, in the Series B, how many pieces do you have total for that radio?
Okay, got 4 pieces on this one. We went through this one time before, I think not too long ago. If you remember, I'm sure you do. It's got a sideman, SSB 15 sideman on the thing. And it's got a transducer to tie the sideman into the thing. So it's got 4 pieces on the radio. It's about 3 foot long. Good size with the thing in there. About as same length as my one I had last night on the thing. Back to you.
All right. Still good. Oscillation is gone, and yeah, there's just plenty of audio. So that is a good thing. You are radio number 2, the Brown and Golden Eagle Mark II Series B, one of the last configurations before they managed to pack it all up and call it the Mark III. So still good. Takes up a lot of radio real estate, but it looks good doing it. Give us another transmission. Thanks for bringing it by, and it's sounding good now.
Good. Thanks for fixing it. I appreciate you very much. There's smoke up there that got me up now. I'll say it's been so bad the last couple of days that it's really terrible. So if I leave my voice completely, you'll understand. And thanks for checking it in.
Okay, yeah, I think one of the other stations up there said it's been smoky, so it might be a lot of as they're getting the fire contained, there's a lot of smoldering smoke, and we haven't had a lot of wind going on, and we're in the high pressure, so there's a lot of wind not coming from the west, so makes things difficult. Thanks for bringing it by. And Dwayne, okay, I see your answer to that. We'll check with Harvey. I know you want to get a hold of Harvey as well. Maybe he has some items on that. I think, I'm trying to think when I had the audio board up, if I turned the gain way up on the microphone, if it would feed back through the speaker. I think I had to be. I don't know if it did it on receiver or not. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've done it. It sounds like you've got excessive gain or maybe that spot switch is. I don't know how many contacts it goes through. Maybe it's not quite disengaging. So it's opening the audio circuit into the speaker, but it's not keying the spotting transmitter. That will be interesting. I'll try and make a note or remind me if I don't say when Harvey comes on if he's had issues like that before. And I agree, Paul is loud. They're saying you're loud, Paul, and that's because you are. And Paul is in North Fork, which is about 35 or 40 miles away from me up in the foothills. All right, Radio 3, it is your turn. I hope, I know it's been a while, Chris, but I hope you are still in the radio room. We are looking for 37.
Yes, I am still here. Over.
All right, at 9:25, I'm going to say go ahead and take a transmission.
Alright, FWL37 here. We are going to check in my Jingle radio telephone, the Super MC11A, the one with little old man in the wheelchair sitting next to the dial there. We're listening here with a handheld stock microphone. So what you hear is what you get, and what you get is what you hear, and that's what it is. So anyway, that's my Jingle. Over.
Still sounding good. There's another loud radio. Both last 2 radios are loud. Chris is probably about 4 miles away. I think Paul was about an S8. Chris is 5 dB over S9, so we've got a little signal difference, but they're both loud. The Super MC11A is certainly playing well with the Brownings. Give us another transmission on Radio 3.
Is that competition?
Well, back in the early days, there was a lot of competition. It used to be much more competitive between the Brownings and the Generals and the Sonars, and the Browning operators would call the Sonar radios parts radios, and the General radio telephone operators would call the Browning radios parts radios. But, I mean, we like them all here at the Old Tube Radio Network.
Oh, I do too. You're not by yourself. That was my General. Like I said, totally stock one. We're doing just what we can do out of it.
And sounds good. We got a demonstration last week from Paul on his Super MC11, I think it was 11A, where he's got a switch that can actually do the business band kind of strapped signal audio on it. And I don't know, as usual, always prefer it not, in the stock mode, because the audio just sounds so good. Yours always sounds good. Radio number 3, the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A from beautiful downtown Burbank, courtesy of North Fresno. Back to you for transmission, and thanks for bringing it by.
You betcha. So, thank you very much, Jerry. And they're out there in Madera Town. That radio you're just talking on, that puppy is loud. Let me tell you. Sounds good. All right, hey, we're out and going back to what we're doing here. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for stopping by the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. The Jingle Singers are having fun in the green room tonight with all I see a lot of the waffle maker is a big deal. A big deal with the waffle maker tonight, out there making waffles. So I may have to stop by and get one before I retire tonight. But the Jingle Singers would also like to tell you about their favorite place to be on Saturday, and you know where that is. And they're eating their waffles. Go ahead, Jingle Singers. You can do it. Maybe they can.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
We were looking for radio number 4. Boy, that one has a nice that one has a nice purr when it keys up. Hello, Paul.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I had to go back to the great old General Radio telephone. My MC9.
Yeah, let's do another General Radio telephone. I believe that is the Super MC9. I think when they started, they had the MC7. And when they went to the MC8, for some reason, they started being super. Let me see if I've got a Super MC9 in the Rolodex queue. Yes, I do. It's got that great shot back when you went outside and took photos of the radios when you had trees around there. I think we've got the radio or something like it. Over.
Okay, I'm trying to get this receive set on this thing pretty good. I didn't get almost all of that, but I got some of it. Yeah, this is the one I've had it for a long time. I got 2 of mine. This is one of my better ones, I believe. I like it better. It's not going to be as loud as you know who. You can't beat that 12 he's got there, I'll tell you. No, no 12, I'm confused. It's 11. 11B, I guess it is. So I'm really having a bad time tonight. Anyway, check this. It's got the ECL 800 tube in the thing, just like all the rest of the other big ones. And it's got the original mic on this. It's got the stock General ceramic mic. It's a CM-2. This thing is really a super heavy mic. It's got heavy zinc alloy die cast in satin chrome made by Turner. I took that right off of the microphone. So back to you.
Looks good and sounds good. We've got a shot of the radio. It might be the same one you're using. This could be a different one. I know you had one of them that Had some transformer issues, but this has the CM microphone displayed. Probably adds a pound or two to the radio itself. The Super MC9 has a total of 10 tubes, which will add to our tube count tonight. The ECLL 800 being the modulator, phase inverse modulator, also has... No, they're all, except for that, they're all 6-volt tubes, except for the mic preamp, which is a 12AX7A, which doesn't surprise me with the great audio that it has. Let's see, continually tunable receiver. Wait a minute. 23. So that, I thought that was 23-channel crystal controlled, but I'm showing that it has a tunable receiver. Is that correct?
Well, I've got a BFO, so you can tune each one of the crystals. Matter of fact, this is the first radio that came out with a with that in their thing. Other than that, it doesn't have any. It's got a crystal control on both transmit and receive.
All right, because I was looking at the picture and it didn't seem like it had. I can see the channel selector, you know, the click stop channel selector, but I didn't see that it had a tunable receive. It says continually tunable receiver, which is weird. And I see the control underneath the S meter, which I think is the delta tune. All right, but it sounds good. It's got good audio. Got some good low frequencies in there as well. And always amazed at how well the stock microphoniums play with those. It's almost that you don't need an amplified microphone, and if you do, you probably would have to go into the radio and turn things down. You are radio number 4. The Generals are showing off the Brownings tonight, it seems like.
Good. I hope we get a chance to get in there. Don't know who else can check in one, but keep my fingers crossed. Thanks for checking it in, Danny.
All right, and thanks for bringing it by on the old Tube Radio Network.
25.
And hello, 25. Boy, I'm just playing with my foot switch here, the Heil foot switch. I put it on a box to raise it up. So I thought that would be easier for me to manipulate it. But now the box I'm using is not very good. It's a cardboard box, and I guess in my zeal, in my enthusiasm to check in radios, I'm stomping so hard that I'm collapsing the box. So if I seem to be having trouble transmitting, I wouldn't. And Jerry's a musician. He knows this. I would never make a good drummer. I can't do things with my hands and my feet at the same time over.
You know what? I could just picture the cardboard box collapsing on your with your foot switch on top of it. That makes total sense. But it doesn't. Anyway, by the way, Terry Kajiver says hello, and by the way, okay, moving right along here from downtown Burbank, California. This is the General Radio Telephone MC5. Back to you.
Yeah, the General Radio Telephones. Beautiful downtown Burbank is on the march. We'll go back from the late 60s, the early 70s. We've been checking in the Super MC series. This one goes back to 1963, and it might have even, if you have an old, one of the many CB catalogs that they had back in the early 1960s, General Radio Telephone really did a great job of promoting this MC5, and in some magazines, they actually took out like half-page color advertisements in late 1960, around December 1962. I think maybe they, in fact, let me put up the advertisement. Maybe they thought that it would be a nice thing, a nice kind of Christmas present. There it is. So give us a transmission, and I'll put up the ad. If you can still hear me over.
Hey, Dennis, I lost you. You take another transmission so I can find you on the VFO. I was kind of trying to move some buttons around.
Yeah, the General MC5 has both crystal control transmit and receive, but it has, let me go to the shot of the radio, which I'm sure I have. There we go. And put that up. And you can see that the really cool dial, rotating dial, let me go to the full extreme, and that is the receive VFO part. So whether when you turn it up between 9, 10, and 11, if you have to point at 11 to get to 211, over?
Yeah, no, actually, I found you. I was trying to, the receive on this is not the best, but hopefully the transmit is good. But yeah, the VFO is a little off. It's actually showing, maybe right channel 9 instead of 11. That's why kind of lost you, but I was trying to mess with some buttons, or you know how the pots move the pots around, and I lost your audio there. So, but I found you. So anyway, everything's good, all good. Yeah, the MC5 talking on a. I know we're not supposed to use shouldn't be using a powered mic, but I like a Turner plus 3B that I got it turned way down, and. Yeah, on radio, got the little mini handles for, for rack mount if you want to put it in a rack mount. I'm not sure what those little handles are for. There's mini ones on each side of the radio. And has the socket down below the famous mysterious phone signal work button for an external frequency if you want to use one for secret frequency. Other than that, everything's working good. I hope it's working good. And anyway, back to you, Dennis.
It's working well. We had a picture up there. I am going to ask you a question. Don't go away, because you mentioned you had the amplified microphonium, so that actually helps. Is there a control knob on the top? Is that easy to adjust the gain on your microphonium over?
I don't have a mic gain. Oh, you're talking about on the Turner? Yes. So it's set at about 2 o'clock. Over.
Okay, I've got the Orban modulation loudness meter, and we're looking at the LKFS. Those watching the video, and I'll explain to the radio operators, there's an LKFS number. I'm at about minus 16. You're at about minus 24, 25. What I would like to do, go ahead and increase the gain on the microphonium. I'm thinking we could get that LKFS loudness up to maybe minus 22 or 20. I think you're a bit undermodulated, but we know that radio can talk. So go ahead and pump a little more audio into the microphonium and see what we can do here. Over.
Yeah, okay, Dennis. We're bringing it up. There's about 12 o'clock right there. Is that any better?
Yeah, I take another transmission. I would say give it just a skosh. That's a technical term. Give it just a skosh more and take a transmission.
All righty. Well, there is a skosh more, and hopefully, I haven't checked this battery, checked voltage on this battery, so, of course, it's a 9-volt battery, so it might be a little weak, but anyway, is that any better? Over.
Yeah, it's great. You're now up to like minus 18 or so, and you were like 24, 25. So that's actually, as loudness goes, on the loudest meter, that's a nice improvement, and I'm sure the stations listening in could actually hear that improvement. The radio, of course, will take all sorts of audio, and you have, as they say, a mellifluous voice here on YAM. So I think we've done a good thing. Radio 5 is indeed the General Radio Telephone MC5. And also, you can't get away without doing the Q-Bird. The Q-Bird typically will modulate that radio at 100%. So when you do the Q-Bird, leave it run. We'll clear the frequency for you. Leave it run for about 5 to 10 seconds, so we'll get a full reading on the LKFS Orban loudness meter, and we'll see what a full 100% modulation does with that Q-Bird. Over.
All right, Dennis, here it comes.
I had to laugh. Take the temperature. Take the temperature of the Q-Bird. I believe it's running about 105-degree temperature tonight.
So it's working, as my ex-German boss would say.
It's working, but it sounds a bit different than I remember it. It may be laying an egg. Tonight, the Q-Bird has laid an egg, but it is there. It's LMNOPQRST. It might be a P-Bird. It wasn't quite a Q-Bird, but thanks for humoring the net control. The General Radio Telephone MC5 is sounding good, and we've got it on tape and on video. Over.
All right, Dennis, thanks for checking it in, and we'll be standing by and waiting for the other operators to check in more radios. Anyway, thanks, Dennis. Have a good evening.
It is the thing to do on Saturday nights, checking in your old tube radios here at the Old Tube Radio Network, or giving us a call and letting us know you're out there, whether you have a radio or not. Radio is not required to participate in the Old Tube Radio Network. We're not a club, just a voluntary association of people, not a secret handshake. Everybody is welcome. Hello to our new listeners in Fish Camp, California. Hello to Sun City, California. Germantown, Wisconsin, joining us tonight on the item of interest, and the Jingle singers who are not waffling at the waffle iron tonight say, yes, indeed, they have another item of interest for us. So we'll head over that way, and they'll tell us about the magic that is OTR.
What are the magic numbers?
27.085 megahertz, channel 11.
Are the magic letters?
OTR.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Radio Magic.
Old Tube Radio.
For you.
And we are looking for radio number 6. That was an interesting key up. 45. Hello, Paul. If you can hear the sound of OTR, step up into the air chair.
Okay. Yeah, I'll change. It's not a drill. It's not a brownie. My Hammerlin CB-214.
Good. I was hoping we'd get a Hammerlin tonight. I featured the Hammerlin, one of the Hammerlin radios, on the photo that we do that's up on the oldtuberadio.net page, thinking, and the reason I did that is because we have not heard a Hammerlin in a while. Hammerlin, of course, made great receivers for amateur radio, and I was always impressed that they ventured out and made transceivers for the Class D radio. Give me the model number again on the Hammerlin. Over.
CB-214.
All right, I've got it, and it says, if I'm correct here, from the collection of Paul. It's not quite green. I'm going to say this is a blue radio, and just from the looks, it obviously tells me that it may be a Hammerlin's first venture into the Class D radio service. Back to you for a transmission.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, it's a pretty little blue radio, but it's got nothing on it hardly. It's got electric switch, it's got the volume control, well, and one of the red lights inside the mic cord, hardwired in, by the way. And that's about it with it. It's not much there. I think you're probably right.
It's got the Hammerlin logo, the H with the arrow through it. Front firing speaker. Well, if the receiver's good, you should be able to hear me. One of the clues, they have the microphone is wired right into the radio. It seems like all the early radios, a lot of the early radios, I should say, had the microphones directly wired in. Probably because there weren't anybody manufacturing extra microphones for the rigs. I'm not sure. It says 3 watts RF output, 5 watts input to the final. Interesting. 117 volt AC. 12 volt DC at 6 amps. I'm surprised that doesn't list a 6 volt DC. So a lot of those radios in the early 60s, you still had a lot of 6 volt auto systems hanging around. Hammerlin went on to make a couple of 23 channel radios and the ones that they put into their receivers. But this is interesting. I bet this is when it comes to Hammerland, probably a very, very rare radio. I'm not sure how the receive works, but I'm hearing you just fine. Over.
Good, I'm glad. It's just down the hill. Now, this right here is not in sand. That's booked at all, so there's very little information on it. I have no idea when it was manufactured into it, but I'm with you. It's probably maybe late 50s and maybe early 60s, I would say, is the first one of the thing. Like I said, Euphonics microphone on the thing, told you that. And that's about it. It's got all the pictures on the side, on the right-hand top, on the pictures here. Nice type speaker on the thing. And it's just a basic, plain, good old radio back here.
I like the way you say that. That is our theme for the old tube radio. Good old radio, and this is one of them. Paul, radio number 6 tonight on the Hammarlund, Hammarlund, the CB214. Give us another transmission, and thanks for bringing that one by. You must have read my mind. I was hoping we'd get to Hammarlund tonight. Thanks.
Yeah, you did. Oh, I just did my little red light there. As you can see there, left of the mic cord. It comes on, and it's real dim until you need a mic. So there's your modulation meter right there. They come up with that. That's pretty good. Thanks,
Yeah, at least you know you're on the air. If it's not an electronic switching, you hear the clunk of the relays. But is anybody actually hearing you? So you don't have to sit there saying audio, audio. You can just give a hello radio and watch the blinking of the red light. So thanks for bringing that one by. Oh, how many channels? That is a good question. I'm looking on my Rolodex. It doesn't say. Let me go. Okay, there we go. There's the selector. 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like it's 6 channels. I don't know if you have all 6 positions populated with crystals, but obviously you have one of those for channel 11.
Yeah, it's a 6 crystal, 9 tube, 6 crystal, and I don't know I don't know if I've written down what they got on the thing. But I know I got channel 11. That's the main one. Back to you.
That's right. It probably came with channel 11 when they brought it in from the electronic store, the mail order catalog, or wherever this radio came from. Thanks, Dwayne, for clarifying that, and Paul for letting us know. And channel 11 doing good. I probably done a frequency check on that before, so I won't do one now. Thanks for bringing it by.
Yeah, I'd like to have a frequency check on the thing if you have one.
Yeah, I have to squeeze out of my position here to get over to the receiver. So take a 5 or 10 second transmission, and we'll see what we got.
Okay. I'll tell you. Interesting how they did that. I had a lot of other radios at that time. That's you.
Okay, I think I'm back in the air chair. I'm wired up like a robot, and there's wires all over the place. So I have to be, for those watching the video, I have to be very careful about what I go diving across the table here so I don't pull something off the table or take us off the air. All right, you are at 27084, which puts you about a KC low. Of course, the bandwidth of my filters here, I can't really tell much difference on good old AM, but if someone was listening on sideband, they would be moving the VFO a bit. But it still sounds good. Not bad for a 55-year-old radio, I bet.
Yeah, definitely. The crystals, I'm real happy. It's within reason. You can hear me. That's doing a little bit, but you can hear me. That's the main thing. Thanks again, Dennis.
All right, thank you for radio number 6. I don't know if I have control. I'm talking to Chrissy on the camera where I could change the hue. Actually, that doesn't go through. I was going to cheat. I could change the hue control and make the radio green, but it's going to stay the way it is. What you see tonight in the Old Tube Radio Network is what you get. GWD Labs listening in. Let's do. Since GWD Labs is my audio tech support here, let's try. Let me put up the. Watch your ears. I want to run a tone here. I want to put on the. Let me go over to the REA meter. Yeah, there we go. And the way I set this up, I think I have the tone set for 70%. So let's see how it looks on the meter. I'm surprised it's at 50. When I set it up earlier, the tone was coming in at about 70. When I set it for 70, it usually works about like I want it. So I'm a little bit off, although it looks good. I could be the tone. Let me be the tone. See, my tone doesn't look as good on the scope. We are looking for radio number 7. This is the Old Tube Radio Network.
Can I be 7?
You can be 7. Yeah, I agree. The tone was undermodulated, but when I set it up, because of the unit that puts the tone out, it's a tone generator, but it also functions as an AGC at the last part of the audio chain. So I have to figure out where it's supposed to be. So it is a bit undermodulated, although my audio looks okay. Hello, Harvey. Thanks for jumping into the radio room.
Okay. Well, you're welcome. There was a question earlier. You said my name or something. What was it?
Yeah, you've been listening in. That this box is about ready to collapse. If I go falling off the chair, it's because this box underneath the push-to-talk switch down here is just going to totally collapse. Yes, there was a question, and it has to do with Brownings, which, apropos, because it sounds like you might be on one, and it has to do with the spotting function between the transmitter and receiver, and it has to do with using a banana mic. And Dwayne is saying when he's receiving with the banana mic, sometimes he gets problems with able to hear his audio through the receiver, but only on the banana microphone. And I can't remember if he said that was with on a Mark III or a Mark II. Have you ever come across that where the switch could get faulty or something like that, or the banana mic has a different impedance that gives it more gain or something? What are your experiences with such things?
Oh, that was a clunk. So he's saying when he has the banana mic hooked up, he has a little problem with his receive?
No, it's the fact that he can actually hear his, I may be saying this wrong, and pressing the spot button, he gets feedback through the receiver.
Well, you're supposed to.
Okay, I'm probably phasing the question wrong. Well, that's true. You're getting something. You're getting a meter movement, and then it's basically transmitting, right? You're transmitting to yourself. So if you have an open microphone, open audio circuit, you're going to hear some feedback, I would think.
Yeah. When I push the spot on this transmitter here, I get a tone through the receiver, and the needle moves up, and you spot it that way. Some radios, based on how the microphone circuit is hooked up through the mic, when you hit the spot, you just get kind of a dead tone type thing. Not really a tone, but the meter goes up and it's like, and you tune to the peak. This radio I love because it just gives out an eerie, high-pitched sound. I don't know if it'll do it while I'm talking. My modulation meter, I don't have set to modulation. I have it set to forward because it slams over. Let me set it. Oh yeah, now it's on modulation and it's slamming over. Let me push the spot switch. So I don't know if you heard any tone or anything at all.
No, it unkeys, so I'm sure it's doing low power or pre-driver key up into the receiver, so I didn't hear anything. And I'm trying to remember when I had the Eagle here, when I had the audio board, I had similar issues where it's just even on keying with the ping, I'd hear my audio over the coming through the ping, and just if you get a lot of gain coming in there, it's like the audio circuit is open, so you have issues. Although his was more specific to basically it only happened when he was using the banana mic. So I didn't know if the banana mics have a different impedance or different gain figure or something.
Okay, some banana mics, the actual mic circuit, which is ground and the white wire going to the element along with ground, is live all the time. In other words, the mic circuit is open. So what he might be getting is a little bit of room audio or something through that circuit. Now with a D104 plus 2 or something like that, the mic circuit gets keyed up through the relay. Plus on unamped D104s, there are enough contacts that you can do the same thing. Have the mic circuit disconnected until you key up, or you can run it just straight. So, could be that.
And that's indeed what it is, and you answered my question. I wasn't thinking correctly, but when I'm running my audio board, I have the audios always going through the mic circuit, and I'm using a separate, I'm using the J38 key to key the microphone. So when you're on a D104, it's a push to talk. No audio is going through until you squeeze that microphone to open the relay or open the circuit. Like you said, on the banana mic, it could be audio. The audio circuit is open, and then you're keying the transmitter. That's what I'm doing when I run the Browning that way. My audio is always going into that radio because there's no push to talk. My push to talk is a separate circuit on that key line. So that's the problem I was having too. Like you said, you press that spot button, and you're opening up. You're putting the low power transmitter into the receiver, and it's like you haven't keyed the microphone yet, and you're hearing stuff. So that is exactly what's happening on the banana mic, why it only works with the banana mic, and why it worked with my situation, because I'm feeding audio directly into it. I'm not doing a push-to-talk, where the push-to-talk is part of the microphone circuit. All right, you have answered the question for both of us.
Okay, well, I'm on a Browning Golden Beagle R68T68 Model B. The reason I know it's Model B, at least the receiver, is because stamped in ink or whatever, from an ink type stamp, it says Mod B or Model B. I'm assuming that, and this has the RF gain control on the receiver. So the one with the 3-position switch, I'm assuming is, quote, Model A or just the Golden Eagle with no model something on there. The transmitter is the one with the on-air light. Does not say Model B on there. I'd have to trace it out to Browning history with the serial number, but most of the Golden Eagles have the 3-position switch on the receiver, and the transmitter has the spotlight. So that's the setup that most people seem to have, and those seem to be the ones that are most out there, probably the ones mostly sold. Well, this one has the on-air light and the RF gain control. It is not the one that I usually talk on. That's still at the other place.
All right, got it. But it does have that sound. It just has a different quality where it's close enough, I think, to your other radio. That's what cued me in to thinking you might be on it. I don't think it quite has, like you mentioned the ping of the other one. That one just has the classic Flying Eagle screech, if you will. Let me take a moment just to say hello to Richard SWL78, who has been listening in. I want to let you know that we are getting you checked in from Wildemar, talking with radio number 7, which I haven't even written in yet, on the Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68 Series 2, Series B, I guess the Mark IIs. Paul checked in with a B, of the Series B tonight.
Correct. On the Mark II, they do say Series B. This one says Model B, or I think it says Mod B, something like that, on the back of the receiver, but not on the transmitter, so I don't know. But I believe these came together. I'm not sure if I pieced it together or not. But anyway, this is it, unamplified D104. The microphones that I'm using at this place are all mics that have been in storage for a while. So relays are dusty and all, and I think the next one I'm going to key up in a few minutes once I get it hooked up. It's going to have one of those dusty mics on it. So I'll hook it up and see what we get.
All right, good deal. This is the dusty mic frequency, radio number 7, Harvey, on the Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68 Mod B Series 2, whatever you want to call it. Let me do a little housekeeping on the SWLs. We have, well, this works out chronologically well. SWL 78, Richard checking in, wanted to get that officially on the board, and then also SWL 79, Philip also checking in out there. So we got two of you checking in. While we'll do that, the Jingle Singers they're having a good time tonight. They want to tell you about how to spell the best 3 letters on your radio.
Let's do some spelling.
OTR. 27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio. Old Tube Radio.
Harvey, once you get the radio room all set up, we'll have to get you set up with the full Monty, as it were, with the video and the audio thing, so you can participate in all the chat windows here. We have some people that would like to get a hold of you for sure. Do some counting and amounting here.
Sure is quiet.
Out there, over.
Yeah, I gotta really key this one down. Yeah, whoop. Yeah, I know, I hear it. Hey. Yeah, I hear that noise. that Golden Eagle and this radio and two others I may check in, none of them have been on in about 5 years or more. So, who knows what's happening. Okay, is this one working?
It's working great. It has really smooth, mellow-sounding audio, too.
Well, stop. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This is the Tram XL 100. This was Tram's answer to, or they came out with it first, the Browning Drake 523, which was a transceiver with a separate power supply, separate speaker. Come here. Yeah. Okay. And the fun part about this one is the audio output tube, which is also the modulator, is in the power supply. So if anybody sees the Tram XL 100 for sale without the power supply, you better get that power supply first, because without it, without it, you don't have a radio. Anyway, this one's got powder-coated black casing, powder-coated mic, all done by Bill at the shop there, so powder-coated. It's got the original brackets for mobile use, the speaker with its brackets for mobile use, everything. And it also has two on-off switches, on-off on the volume control, and a key lock on the upper right, where you have to stick a key in to turn it on or off. If it's off, you don't have the key, you got to go in the radio and short that out.
Interesting. All right, I've got a picture in a mobile configuration, so we'll talk about the power supply. I'm assuming that's a separate unit, and that you might not need it if you're running mobile. The picture, again, is a mobile with an interesting D104 mobile setup that doesn't have the base on it. Plugs into the left side. You've got the meter on the left side. Channel selector in the center. Some type of I can't get a real close-up picture of it. Saying some type of a pilot light on the between the meter and the channel selector, and then three knobs on the side. I see the keying situation. So in theory, if you do not have the power supply, then you're basically set up to run it mobile, or would you still need the power supply to do something else, like it's got the speaker in it or something like that? Over.
Okay. Similar to the Browning 523, which to run mobile, you need a separate DC power supply in a box. You need a separate DC power supply to run this one. Whoops. Okay, because the 6EQ5, or in my case, 7189A tube is in the power supply box. So if you don't have that, you have no audio. And it's got a cable with about 7 or 8 wires in it. So, to carry the audio and all that to the transceiver. So you have to have that. You have to have either the DC or the AC power supply, because it's got the audio output modulator to it.
Interesting. And I guess you can hear the little squeechy squealies. They're not interfering with your audio, but they are in there. I wonder why they did that. Does it make the radio smaller to keep the footprint of the actual console part together, or keep transceiver? I don't know. Seems odd that they would do something like that, unless they're beefing up the audio by putting in a bigger tubes in an extra box. All right, good to know. I don't have some really great pictures showing the whole thing. And it's probably one of the later trams. I'm seeing if I've got info on it. Nope, just says a Tram XL 100. It's not green like the early 60s trams, but it sure has mellow audio. It's got some really good of the mellow and the really correct low-frequency tones. Makes your voice sound, what's the word I always use? Very mellifluous. Over.
Well, I've been called that. Excuse me, in years. Well, the channel number in the middle says 11 in white, but they have green off to the right and to the left. So channel 12 is in green, and I mean green, and channel 10 is in green. But in the middle is 11, and it's in white. Okay. This is kind of a funky setup. So I got to hold the mic cord a certain way and everything. Anyway, the Tram XL 100, about 4-piece radio, using a amplified D104. Whoops, shut up. Amplified D104. Yeah. Yeah, I can hear it. Okay, well, I haven't had these on in 5 years, so. Be quiet. Talking back to me. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to do some work. That's telling me to unkey.
And your audio volume increased as well. Changed the tone just a little bit. So something's warming up. Sounds like you've got a little creature in there that's wanting to be fed. So maybe you can get... Do you have a little Tram XL treats? You can open up the jar of the little Tram XL treats, and maybe you can stuff one into the air vent, into the convection cooling vent somewhere, and calm down the beast. You are Radio 8 with Tram XL 100. I notice it's 13 minutes after the hour here. I want to make sure we get all the stations checked in that would like to check in tonight. And there is a wee bit of green on that radio, albeit in the channel selector. Before you go, do you have an idea of how many tubes there might be in the total package on the Tram XL 100 over?
Well, I can look it up, but I don't want to take the time. I'll do that for next week, because I'm leaving this up here. Yeah, I kind of like this radio. It's been in a box for 5 years, sitting on a shelf. So now it's out of the box on a shelf. But I have to obviously go through it. Okay, I have 2 more. I know it's after 10, but I'm going to try and hook them up quick.
Okay, we'll... All right, I think a box... hold on, the box has collapsed. But yes, we'll go get your radios. We'll be here. I'm going to... Let's see, so I don't look funny. Let me put something else on the screen, and I'll be back. All right. This should not be this hard, I'm telling you. What I did is I elevated my chair. I elevated the padding in this chair, and it's just enough where it's really a stretch to get down to that foot switch. I guess I need the hand stuff, but I thought the foot switch would be better. Here's the box. I know this is going to make me look stupid, but I'm stupid already. This is the box that I had underneath, and I had it's a, what is it, Nature Valley Protein Chewy Bars, and I had the foot switch on top of that, and see, it collapsed the top of the box of me pressing on it, so that was not a good idea. I think I'll have to get a piece of wood or something a little bit more stable. Your old Tube Radio Network, Jingle Singers are going to try, hopefully, to I want to say, to get me out of this. They hopefully are going to help me out here.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are, or near music and the latest news from home and from afar. The station for you is
OTR. Old Tube Radio.
the station for you is
OTR.
And I do think Paul has Radio 9 and 10. Harvey has Radio. Paul would have Radio 100 for us if we needed it. Harvey has Radio 9 and 10 for us. We're standing by. Over.
Okay. Uh-oh. Is this working or not? Hello.
It is working. Over.
Oh, okay. This is the Demco Star. The Star. Yes. This was also sitting in a cabinet, and I'm moving stuff, so I grabbed it. This one I picked up, and it had terrible wooden sides, and it didn't have a top. And it had a busted modulation S-unit switch, power output modulation switch. S-unit power switch. Okay, the mod word is above the modulation light. And it was busted. So I guess no one wanted to bid on it. Well, I got it. And even though the switch was riveted in, I very carefully drilled out the rivets, put an identical switch in with screws, so it's got screws instead of rivets, and that worked. As far as the top, when Bill was at the Barstow shop, he was across the street from McGuy's metal fabrication shop, I guess. It doesn't look like you pronounce it McGuy's, but that's what I was told. Anyway, Bill had a lot of stuff made there for the truckers, etc. So he happened to come upon a Demco Star with a top, so he took his over there, said, can you make another one? And they said, we can, but the vent holes are really weird, and we can't quite duplicate that, but we have this pattern. We could put this on the top and this same thing on the back, because the top bends over and covers half the back. And I said, sure. So they did it. Bill got it powder coated, and I have a top. The sides, I took off the terrible wood on the side and found some, what is it called, red oak. And I stained it a little darker red, and it looks great on there. So this is a Demco Star, and it's got 23-channel crystal receive, transit with 23 tunable receive, no crystal receive.
Looks good. I found a great picture of it. It reminds me of the tram, the D201, or even the Titan 3, the 4, where they had the Naugahyde, where they had the Naugahyde thing around it. But it's got the dual knobs like the tram. But this is the Demco, and of course Demco started with the separate transmitter, separate receiver, and put it in the box. So this is. Let's see if I've got a date on this. No, it doesn't say. Obviously 70, 71, 72, something like that, maybe. Got good audio. Very mellow. You could probably get away with a bright microphone, bright D104 or something. Sounds like this would be good for audio. And it looks like it's got a plethora of controls for your audio enjoyment. Did they do the S-meter thing like the Demco? Usually had the red and green S-meters. It looks like they're trying to do something with that. Obviously, I think the picture we have is not the one that you've modified, so that may be something we need to update for our picture, because I have a feeling you are the only one that's going to be checking in a Demco Star, so we should have a picture of it. Over.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, the meter is red all the time. I was going to see if I could go into the radio. You'll hate this. And then see if the relay was capable of switching lights. So I'd have green for receive and red for transmit. On the super satellite, they have a red one on the transmitter and a green one on the receiver, and just clear on the satellite deluxe. And this one is just red all the time, but I like it.
And we do too. I'm wondering if this switch is breaking. Maybe that's the thing. I should go down there and check it. Looks good. The Demco Star mic wiring. Here's the mic wiring for you. I've got that. 1 is ground, 2 is audio, and 3 is push to talk. It's only three pins on that. Sounds good. I don't know if you ever check out the archives of the audio, but you'll hear what it is. It sounds good. All your signals are much better at the newer location without having to do much in the range boost. So we're actually hearing the radios as they should sound. Okay, I'm glad you found that one in the box. I'm hoping that you'll have room to display these somehow so that they will be easy to check in future episodes. All right, I'll let you go. You said you've got one more. That'll give us 10 radios. Demco, the Star. There is a Facebook fans of Browning, Sonar, and Trams, something like that. And if JT is watching or maybe watching the replay, he is indeed ringing the Demco bell. Over.
Okay, going to the last one. Hopefully it'll speed up and work. When I was testing it, I got no audio out of the transmitter. None at all. And I was upset. I checked the mic and the mic was perfect, so I popped the top, looked in, and the audio output modulator tube wasn't lit up. So I wiggled it and it came right on. Yeah, that one has been on for a whole long time. Probably about 6-7 years. Okay, going to the last one tonight.
All right, and the Jingle singers are looking at the clock saying, let's do this. We've got at least one more radio to go. We've got at least one more radio to go, and I'll have to check. I'll have to see why my foot switch isn't working. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
Break OTR.
Uh-oh, now it is broken. The foot switch is not keying the radio. Hold on, I've got plan B. How am I going to do this? How are we going to do this, ladies and gentlemen? Can you hear me? Over.
Oh, there you are.
All right, hold on. I got some technical difficulties here.
Break OTR. Dennis still there?
I think he's having some issues.
Ah, okay. Well, hope he fixes them.
All right, you know, I could go Vox, but I think that's going to be a bad way to do this. And I'm got so many wires around here. All right, let me go back to control room. We are there. The foot switch is completely stopped. And it runs directly into the back of the radio, so there's not much way to run anything here. So I have to run the Mach control, which is like across the other side of the room. Okay, I think this is where I could run Vox, but the delay kicking in and out is probably going to drive people nuts. And we are almost done. So I'll endeavor to do a little Voxercise. Mox, it's called an MOX. It's like manual transmission. So a little exercise here. All right, let me get the items at hand. Number one would be to go to this screen and go over to this screen and say that we have SWL7 and check that in and unkey the transmitter, which is behind. No, what's really bad is it's behind the camera. Oh, man, is this awkward. Hello, Ed. Over.
And hello, OTR. Yeah, I just got back from playing poker and figured I'd check in live.
Well, maybe the Vox will work. We're glad that you checked in live, and I hope you had a great time. Over. You got to wait for my box delay to key out here.
Oh, there you go. Well, I came back with exactly what I left with, so I broke even and played all night, so can't complain about that.
Not at all, and you've made it in time to get checked in on the old Tube Radio Network, and that is what we have done.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, this is kind of working. I forgot. I probably have this Vox delay set a lot, set for AM, so it's got a little bit more of a tail to it. So we got you checked in. Now, yeah, just Harvey, wait for my transmitter to drop because I'm gonna run Vox here because that seems to be easier. You have discovered your next radio, which I hear very well. Over.
Yeah. I have this one. This is the Buddy Bass. Yes, it is. Not the one that I usually talk on, but the one you have a picture of. The one with the ginormous speaker. It's about a 15-inch square type speaker. With the on-the-air light. Now, the on-the-air light's original from the smaller box. But this one came with this huge box, and the radio didn't work. Said the transmitter, he saw work. The receiver, he said didn't work. Turned out that somebody had switched the tubes in the receiver. And thank goodness I checked them one by one, and went, wait, That's good, but it's not supposed to go there. So I found where they've been switched, and now I have a nice portion Buddy Bass.
You have the Buddy Bass. I have found the picture of the Buddy Bass combination, the RX-11B, the TX-11B, the RC-11B, and the not on the air light speaker, which I have displayed. I don't know if you can hear it. The radio is definitely not happy in the audio department. It is not sounding much like a Buddy at all. Over.
Yeah, this is a Buddy that kind of turns. Audio too weak or what?
It is not particularly weak. It's not particularly strong. It's just very kind of got distortion in it coming and going, and it's like something quite isn't connecting in there all the time.
Okay. Well, these haven't been on in like 5-6 years, so I'll have to check it out and see what the problem is. But I put another mic on it or change the mic head. I kind of thought it was okay.
I would say it's probably okay. It's something to try. That's the easiest thing to do, obviously, if it's a microphone issue. But it's just kind of rattling, and I don't know if you'll be able to listen to the audio playback at the very end of the issue, the program here, just to hear the issue. But I know you would not be pleased with the sound of that audio.
Okay. Well, could be too. Could be how I've got it all wired up, set up. But what I'll do is, this is interesting. I've got an external down with a wire just laying there.
Yeah, and in fact, the audio is starting to drop off, so it could be some tube essence issue, perhaps. And like you did before, you know, the old wiggle tube when the radio's off and you reseat the tubes and things. Maybe there's just something that the electrons are having a little trouble jumping.
Hello. Yeah. We're home.
Audio, but very weak.
Yeah, that hit wasn't good at all. The battery is weak in this one, but anyway, I have time once I get everything moved over.
Indeed. All right, we got it checked in. So we'll get it checked in, and it will be, and we got a great picture of it, so we'll use it on perhaps for future episodes now that it's in the Radio Shack, as it were, the Buddy TX-11 and RC-11, and maybe, is there a speaker somewhere for that, or it's just, the one there is nice, but it's definitely not the one that goes with it?
Well, I kind of wish I had an extra speaker, but I don't. Let me see. Let me flip the switch here. Could be a number of things. Okay. That probably didn't do anything. Yeah. Okay. Back down here. Yeah, the radio is not tuned, it's loaded, all that. I can load them up.
You know, that could be something too. Almost, you know, when you have somebody with a mistuned linear, where it's just not happy, and it's making 95% audio and it's distorted at 80% kind of thing. Possibly with that. So I will get you checked in. We'll go ahead, and it is 10:35, so I'll get signed out of the program here. But it sounds like the Radio Shack is coming together.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I'm going to keep this one hooked up because the speaker is so darn big. But the one at the other house, it's got the regular speaker. So, yeah, I might use that one, but we'll see. Okay, I'm going to let you go, and Catch you next week. I'll be around next week.
All right, I'll be around as well. I got to be careful not to make too much noise because I'm on the Vox circuit, and I rattle paper and it keys the transmitter. Here is for those who's wondering, what is he doing under the table? This is the Heil foot switch. I'm looking to see, I don't think I've broken anything, but that's what I've been tromping on probably for the last, I don't know, how long have I had this? Maybe it's only good for 10,000 tromps on the item. It looks like I can pull out this pin and take a look. Maybe it's just I've finally done something loose. If you're listening, hey, Bob, if you're listening, this has worked great. I've been using it. It's the kind that has the separate, you can key the transmitter, and it's got a separate delay for an amplifier. And it's been a good item up to this time. So hopefully I haven't been abusing it. We'll see if we can bring it to life, because that will make things easier. Otherwise, we're going to go back to the J38 key, I think, because the Vox isn't going to make it. Harvey, you've got us to 10 radios. Thanks for your extra effort tonight.
Not a problem. I just kind of wanted to get this one hooked up. I'm looking at the meter. Not doing what it should, but then not tuned up yet. Basically, it's going to be like this until I finally decide where I want to put each radio. Then run the cable to it. Then pop the top on the transmitter, do some tuning. There it is. But then, I've got this funky antenna on the roof, and believe it or not, I'd have to do the same thing again once I get the final antenna. So, it may be like this.
Well, it definitely sounds like it's coming along. The audio is getting worse, so it could be something inside as it comes and goes, warms up. So that is one for the bench, perhaps, unless you can determine that it is indeed something microphonium style. But it's a little bit odd. Not quite Buddy-esque. All right, I'll let you get back to what you was doing. I'm going to be counting and amounting, and we'll be signing out of the Old Tube Radio Network shortly.
Okay. Catch you next time.
Okay, I am back. I'll try doing this with the Vox and see if it works. Your Old Tube Radio Network, the Jingle Singers. What do we? Oh, we need the fanfare and the total count. There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
Current final totals. Here at 10:39 Pacific Daylight Time on your Old Tube Radio Network. Tonight we had 70 SWL check-ins, 15 on page 1, 21 on page 2, 15 on page 3, and 19 on page 4 for a total of 70. This is the last week of the 8-week roster, so we'll be redoing the roster. Typically, if you haven't checked in a couple of rosters, we'll reissue the SWL numbers. That's how it works. And looks like Bozo Control will be gathering up the tallies for those with perfect attendance so we can draw the new 00, thanks to Paul, who's done a good job and is actually in the running to do it again if he gets chosen out of the hat, as it were. Radios tonight, we had 10 total radios. The most heard manufacturer was a tie between the General Radio Telephones and the Browning Golden Eagles at 3 apiece, but of course there were many manufacturers that stopped by tonight. The total tube count, and there was a bit of an estimation, it may go up, down by a few tubes, because I had to estimate on some of the radios. We are at 123 tubes for the 10 radio check-ins. All right, let me see if I can go through the list here. Starting off with radio number 1 tonight, Jerry came by with the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB. The second radio tonight was from Paul up in North Fork on his Browning Golden Eagle Mark II Series B. The third radio of the evening was from Chris. He was on the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A, starting off the General Radio Telephone Triple Play, followed by Radio 4 from Paul, the Super MC9 from General Radio Telephone. Radio number 5 was Jerry on the General Radio Telephone MC5. Our sixth radio of the evening was Paul on the Hammerland CB214. That was followed by Radio 7, Harvey on his Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68 Series 2 or Mod B, as it said somewhere on the chassis there. Radio number 8, the Tram XL100 in a non-mobile configuration. Radio number 9 was Harvey once again on The Star by Demco. And then, as you just heard, getting the buddy bass on the air, but it might need just a little bit of tweaking and peaking, if you will, on the TX11B, RC11B buddy bass. Doing a good job tonight. Thanks to all of you who are listening in, whether it's at 27085 here in the Central Valley of California, whether it's at oldtuberadio.net, or perhaps on the YouTube video, which I think is still up and running. Yeah, I'm going to need, Chrissy, I'm going to need more than phone books now, so we'll see if we can't get the Heil foot switch up and running. I don't know. There's not much to it. It's just, it's just on-off, so maybe my on is off and my off is on. I'll see if I can possibly pull that pin and see what I can do. But when you think about it, it does get quite a bit of stomping and abuse. I'm going to have to be a little bit more gentle on the Heil. But I don't recall when I got that. But it's been down there for many years. It takes a licking and keeps on clicking until the final episode tonight. 27085, your old Tube Radio Network, saying 73. Everybody, thanks for staying with us tonight. Thanks to SearchLawrence.com and Frodex for the Nixie tubes. And, of course, thanks to all of you, because that is why we are here. We're able to get on the air Saturdays and have a good time, sort of recreate what it might have sounded like on your radio back in 1958 or 1972 or whenever. Good night, everybody, from your old Tube Radio Network.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Testing again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, now I can't type anything on the screen. Why is that? Chrissy, are you still on the video stream? Are you still listening over? Or maybe the stream has stopped. I don't know. Having a problem here. One of the many, right?
Hello, Dennis. Can you hear me?
Let me turn on the transmitter. Back to the Vox. Over. Yeah, for some reason I can't type on the video stream anymore. And I can hear you, Harvey, over.
Okay, it's repeating itself. I took my computer and brought it in the room here, and so I can hear myself live.
Okay, yeah, I've got the stream up. I got everything up. I haven't shut it off yet since I'm having difficulties otherwise. The audio sounds a little bit better if you're on the Buddy. It doesn't sound super good, but it doesn't have all the many artifacts. All right, let me turn off the transmitter. Hi, Chrissy. Yeah, what I was trying to type, but it's not allowing me to, for some reason, put it back on the screen.
I didn't bring the mouse in here,
Oops,
so I have to turn off one of the speakers, and I got to figure out how to do that.
Okay, and you probably have a decent, 5 to 10 second delay, so it actually works. If you, give yourself 5 or 6 seconds of audio, you'll be able to not talk and hear it. Except you're going to hear me talk. I'm going to talk for a second here, so hold on. And hello, Chrissy. Yes, we have a rule. We had a rule, and this is long, long ago, where if you have perfect attendance for an 8-week period on the roster, and at the end of the roster, we would give people the ability to switch their SWL numbers if they wanted, but you had to have perfect attendance. But people stopped doing that because they like their numbers, so I haven't done it in a while. However, since this is the end of an 8-week roster, and you do have perfect attendance, and the other issue was the number had to be on the list. It couldn't just make up a number and put it on there. It had to be something that was on the finite SWL list. So you've actually met all the qualifications. 1, end of 8-week roster. 2, perfect attendance. 3, you would like a number that is actually on the list. And 4, it is not occupied. So when I make up the list next week, or for next week, I will move you to number 10, and then that will vacate, 27, and that will be open. So that's perfectly fine. It's just I haven't done it in a long, long time, but that's the rules that all the net controllers came up with, believe it or not, 30 years ago. So I think this will work. Over. And I typed that all up in a nice little thing, and it's not allowing me to put it on the screen, so what the heck. And now I'm going to have a big pile of phone books and duct tape and no foot switch to work on it. What do you think about that? Sometimes you just can't win.
Well,
it
finally figured out how to turn off the speaker.
Well, there's probably a little button somewhere with an up and down arrow or something like that. All right, I guess you could put in headphoniums and then, put them on and take them off and put them on and take them off. Yeah, I'll probably I'm going to drop the video stream, but I will leave the, are you on the video or the audio stream? Which one are you using? Every time I thump on the desk, it keys the transmitter. Yeah, take a longer transmission. It's starting to do this wacko thing again.
Oh, doing the wacko thing again?
Yeah, it just sounds like something's just not quite right.
Okay, well, I've got to check the tube, so I'll do that. And then I did do a little tuning, but I got cables running all over the place, etc. So we'll see. Okay, thank you, Dennis. Time for you to go to bed.
Okay, and that was a fairly good transmission. It's just got a little a grumble on the peaks. So it's there. The audio quality, the audio fidelity sounds good. It doesn't sound like you've got a mismatched impedance or anything like that. So I think you're fairly close, and maybe it's just the fact that it's sitting in the box forever.
Well, yeah, I'm listening to the stream now that you put up with me on the Demco. Oh, God. I mean the tram. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, but I like my sound. Except for the little varmints that are in the radio. Okay. I'll let you go. I'm going to shut things down.
Okay, very good. And then one of the listeners that's on the video site from Idaho would like to chat with you. I can link you up with some phone numbers here if that will work. It's probably not now, of course, but at some point soon.
Somebody actually wants to talk to me?
Yeah, a like-minded, radio-type person that probably has some questions and always gives us good information as we're going along with the program here.
Okay, you can send in my phone number.
Okay, I've got their number, and then what I can do is I've got yours somewhere. I don't know where the heck it is, but I've got it somewhere.
Okay. Call me anytime. I'm moving stuff around. I do this every day until I get too tired.
Okay. All right. Now, did you back off the microphone a little bit? Because the audio is actually getting worse now.
Well, I could get up on the mic.
Oh, that is a lot better. That's way better.
Well, this thing's got a bad battery in it. It's doing about 1.5 volts. I guess I could change it.
Okay, yeah, let's do the easy stuff first. That is just, it's not perfect, but it is a lot better.
Okay. Well, find his number, find my number. I'm sitting right here.
Okay, I've got his number now. I got to find yours. It's probably I wrote it on one of the old SWL sheets, so I got to go through and find it somewhere. Or I may have, if I was smart, I probably put it in the folder. So let me see if I did that without keying up the microphone here.
Okay, I'm putting a new battery in.
This is the new battery frequency.
Okay. I turned the mic down.
Yeah, you've got audio. It's still raspy and gravelly sounding, so something is not quite right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I kept the stream up, but I keep hearing you there. Yeah. I've got to go inside this check.
Okay, but again, it's keying every time it's transmitting. It's got audio. Just there's something in between. There's trouble with a capital T in River City. All right, and before you go, your number starts with 9 and ends with 5.
Correct.
Okay, I think I found it.
What? Yeah. If I move the mic, yeah, I placed it on the table. It feeds back. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's a capacitance problem. I'll figure it out. Things just aren't right here, but I'll figure it out.
You need to adjust your microfarads.
Yeah, but it hurts when I do it.
And this is, let's see, this is microphone number 2. You've already tried the different microphone, right?
No. I just stuck a different head on it, and it was terrible.
Oh, all right. So unless it's a wiring issue or something, this is something that's wired wacko. But you probably don't have another separate total microphonium that's wired correctly.
No. I took the other line that I might be feeding back. It's on another buddy base. So, anyway, this one's got the 4-pin Amphenol plug. I've got another one with that's going in. And then another base, another buddy's just got a 1/4-inch phone plug in there. Anyway, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, it's weird because it starts out crackly. That last, 4 words were just perfect, and then before that was crackly. So it's just something intermittent, which is always fun to find, right?
Okay. Go ahead and give him my number so he can call anytime. Like I'm up right now.
Okay, I will do that. Do your thing, and I'll, I think, just got my typing thing to work again.
Okay. I'm going to turn this off. This one gets hot. this one might be better.
I hear you, over.
Yeah, I hooked this one back up.
It seems happy.
Yeah, an empty 104. Doing about 5 to 11.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to stop doing stuff for a few minutes in case he calls.
All right, yeah, I'm going to email the number right now.
Okay. Well, wait, where's he? Is he local or back east?
Idaho.
Oh, Idaho. That's not that far. He's probably still awake. Yeah, tell him he can call now. It's fine.
All right, I'm just making sure I'm typing the number right. All right, I think I got it. We'll see. I'm gonna send it away. Yeah, that's because he's on the Eagle. All right, I turned off the Vox. I'm going to say goodnight to the people on the audio stream. This is kind of behind-the-scenes stuff here tonight, so I hope everybody that went to bed, they needed to go to bed, went to bed and didn't have to listen to all this. So good night over at oldtuberadio.net. We will catch you next week. And then I will go ahead and put the video to bed here in moments. Okay, I'll hang out with the video just to make sure that he's got it, that I didn't do something wrong.
Yeah, I just heard the replay of the Buddy bass, and I could hear the echo all over the place from the room. So the Buddy, which runs a little extra, I guess the audio is just sucking in the whole room.
Yeah, some radios are more than others. Like I said, the Browning, if you went back, 2 or 3 weeks, and you heard the very first Browning transmission out of the shack there, it's just a world of difference than what I'm hearing right now.
Okay. Well, it's not a totally different transmitter, but slightly different than this. But it's the S9. And the S9 I haven't had on for years also. So, actually about 3 years. So, got to go through it. Before I permanently set everything up, got to go through. Okay, I'm out.
Okay, very good. I know I've asked you this, and I can't remember the answer. For a 2-meter communication, do you have some base thing there, or you still have an HT only for inside?
Yeah, just the HT for inside, and the mobile is a Yaesu 880 or 8800.
Okay, you will probably be getting a phone call, so I will let you go. I've got some new 2-meter antennas that might help me hear you better, even on the HT. I will talk to you later.
All righty. Thanks for staying up late and doing that email. I will talk to you later.
All right. Hopefully, I looked at this thing. This is like I wrote your number down a long time ago. So I'm hoping I gave it to them correctly. All right. Talk to you later. Mitch, I don't know if we're still on the air. We're on the air. There's like 3 on the air. There's on the air over the air. There's on the air on the internet audio feed, and there's on the air on the internet video feed. So let's see. Over the air is now gone. Over the audio internet feed is now gone, and the only thing left is the audio feed on the video feed, which is still up, but it's going away shortly. And I'm still wound up in the headphones here and the foot switch thing. I got to see if that foot switch is sound legible. And regardless of what anyone might say, yes, indeed, this is the Twilight Zone. On your own tube radio network. Yeah, I think I need a new tube. Yeah, as they say in radio, 73. All right, hitting the button for ending the video stream going on forever. And see what kind of contests are going on. And will he fix the foot switch by next week? Stay tuned to this station. Good night, everybody.